Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. This is your host, the Barkeep, bringing you podcast 74 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. Well, guys, you are in for a special treat this evening. As a matter of fact, this is the first on-location Onyx Tavern podcast. Yes, this week I am in beautiful Houston, Texas, for a conference. And since I have a little bit more free time this week than I did back in Los Angeles last week, I've decided that a video or two is in order for you guys, just to keep your sanity between the Pokemon videos that are now available on this channel. So, first of all, you're welcome. And second of all, I really hope to have an interesting discussion here for you tonight, because the topic I have is actually based off of real-world events that really just kind of got me thinking and just opened up this Pandora's box of ideas that I had. So, yeah, I think you guys are going to go ahead and enjoy it. But where we start is actually, it was topical about 3 weeks ago, but because of my schedule, I apologize, I was not able to get to it within a timely fashion. But the specific topic that I'm referring to is the whole incident in Nevada with Cliven Bundy. Now, if you want full details on what's been going on with Cliven Bundy and everything, I would highly recommend that you go check out the Young Turks, Young Turks, on YouTube. They do great coverage, very informative news show. So I'm plugging them because they're really good. But they've done a great job of covering the Cliven Bundy thing and basically all the fallout from that since. So again, go to them for more detailed analysis of what's going on. But the gist of the situation is that we have this rancher in Nevada who was illegally grazing his cows on federal land. Land that he states that he has an ancestral claim to. So he's basically grazing his cow on the land and not paying taxes, or excuse me, grazing fees for the last 20 years. So the government's like, you can't do that. You got to go ahead and pay your back grazing fees, which amounted to over $1 million. He refused to do so, so the government comes in, takes his cattle, and due to issues with the right-wing gun nuts out there, armed militia shows up and forces the government to give back his property. So the whole thing has been messed up, and in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've had crazy coverage of what's going on in Nevada, militant activity, and how this is a win for America and all that stuff. But I'm not going to get too political into it. But the point that comes from all this is that we have a man who believes that the land in question belongs to him and that the government is coming in and taking it from under him, or whatever the situation is, okay? Again, go ahead and look at the details. I'm just giving you guys the broad strokes here. Now, what this led me to think about is, where have we seen something similar to this in Power Rangers? And I'm glad you asked that. Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, as a matter of fact. What is the whole premise of that show? The premise is that the Lightspeed Rangers have to defend Mariner Bay from Queen Banshee and her demons. But why are the demons after Mariner Bay? Well, I'm glad you asked that too. Because in the backstory, Mariner Bay was actually built on an ancient demon temple. Queen Banshee's temple, or I'm trying to think of a better word for temple here, but that's basically what happened. It fell into ruin, humans took over, and now that Banshee and Diabolical and all those guys are back, they're trying to retake the land that they believe is rightfully theirs. Interesting, isn't it? And the Power Rangers are defending that. So given this information and the whole Cliven Bundy thing, it really kind of puts into question, at least in my mind, who has the moral high ground within Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue? Is it the humans and the Rangers, or is it the demons? Because consider this fact right here. Now, I don't know what the land rights are, particularly in the United States or in for other countries for that matter. But typically it's first come, first serve, or I was here first. So one would lead to believe that if the demons were there first and the humans came in later, then really the demons should be able to have that land. But as anybody who knows anything about American history knows, That's an issue we're still dealing with today with the Native Americans because, well, they were here first, and then I know definitely European ancestors came in, and, well, there's all that stuff. So again, not to get too political and be a downer here, but let's apply this information to Power Rangers. Let me give you a couple of interesting numbers right here to look at. First of all, Rovang.org has a great timeline on Power Rangers history, and it estimates that the demons were occupying Mariner Bay approximately 5,000 years ago, and that would actually be about 3000 BCE to break that down. So, the demons were there about 5,000 years ago, and that's when they were imprisoned. So, they've been absent from that land for about a 5,000 year period. Now, when the humans first came in is a good question. If we actually look at American history and find out when humans first arrived in North America, that is actually 15,000 years ago. So that means that humans were in North America, at least the continent, about 10,000 years before the demons were sealed. Now, this number right here, as far as 5,000 years ago when the demons were imprisoned, does not indicate when they first established their temple and when demons originally arrived. So there were a number of things to go ahead and look at right here, because if we assume that the humans were there first, then did the demons actually have a right to be there in the first place? I'm having a hard time trying to find specific information as far as when Native Americans colonized the California coast. Now, as I firmly believe, many Power Rangers seasons, I do think, do take place in Japan, but I think it's safe to assume that Lightspeed Rescue takes place within California, and some estimates have actually placed it within San Francisco, that Mariner Bay is essentially San Francisco in the Power Rangers universe. So we don't go into too much speculation on that part. Let's just assume for this exercise here that Mariner Bay is indeed San Francisco, and we're going to use that real-world location to look at this stuff. So if we look at when humans are within the California area, we know that they were there, thousands and thousands of years ago, at least before the demons arrived. Because again, first humans were about 15,000 years, and if we break that down, that's 10,000 year period they have to get to San Francisco. So that seems pretty reasonable, I think. But if that is the case, then what right did the demons actually have to the California coast, to the Mariner Bay area? That's a very good question there. And were they actually there after the humans arrived, or were they there before? Because actually what throws a monkey wrench into the whole situation is the whole Middle Eastern thing. Because it seems like the demons were imprisoned within the Middle East, which would indicate one of two things. Either A, they just happened to imprison them on the other side of the planet for whatever reason, or that the demons themselves had an empire that reached all the way from the Middle East to the Americas. Which is actually kind of a scary thought right there. But what we need to look at primarily, and this is the point I'm trying to get to right here. I know I'm throwing all these facts here at you. Who came first? Was it the humans or the demons? Because if the humans were there first, if we arrived there, Native American or otherwise, then we completely have the rights to Mariner Bay, San Francisco area. And that any demon presence there was either A, of aggressive nature, such as Spanish conquistadors coming over and they were trying to take over, which would fit the expansionist demon empire theory, or the humans were able to make some sort of peace with the demons and allow them to live there or live some sort of coexistence. We don't know. That information is not available to us. Or if the humans were not there first and the demons were there first, and we were able to run them out and basically take over their land. And in either case, I'm just really confused on who is in the right here. Because certainly the Power Rangers have a right to defend their home. They live in Mariner Bay, they're being attacked, civilians are being hurt all the time and stuff. So again, the Power Rangers are right in that regard, as is Lightspeed, because Lightspeed is a defense force, so they have to go ahead and defend it. And there is a question about the demons' motives. I mean, they find out that their home has been taken over, I mean, I guess in their perspective, if your home has been taken over by rats or something, you'd want to go ahead and exterminate them. And that's probably what they view in this situation. But if the demons were definitely there first before the humans, then what right exactly do the humans have to stay there? Because demons come back, hey, we lived here, this is our ancestral land. Why wasn't some sort of compromise met? Or why didn't the humans realize, yeah, we've been squatting for 5,000 years, we should probably get out? The interesting thing is that moral question is not actually brought up within the series. Now, I believe the plot is similar to Go-Go 5, but since I haven't actually seen Go-Go 5, I'm not going to dive into any of that lore. But strictly speaking with the Power Rangers, it's really an open topic. I mean, who is really right in this situation? Who was there first? Because depending on who was there first, I just think it throws some ambiguity, some shades of gray on the entire situation. Because if we apply this to, again, real world situations like the Native Americans, well, Native Americans were in California long before Europeans got there. But it's owned by the Europeans now. The fact that the Native Americans don't have a demonic army or anything, I don't know. It just seems odd to me that we have this whole thing about land rights going on in the real world, and yet in Power Rangers it's such a black and white issue. Evil demons come to attack, we have to go ahead and defend them, the Power Rangers are in the right. But if that was anything other than demons, if it was a Native American tribe that had mystical powers or something like that, that would definitely paint the Power Rangers as being in the wrong. But we also have to consider that both sides could be wrong by using force and not using any type of diplomatic solution. So it's a tricky issue, and I really wish I had Raptor here to discuss this. Because yeah, it's just a weird thing to go ahead and think about. It comes down to, I think, who was there first, who really has the rights, and two, was aggression the best way to go ahead and achieve this? Again, if you're part of the right wing, you think aggression is probably the best way to do that, and frankly, applying that to Power Rangers, that seems to be the logical move, because at nowhere does it seem Lightspeed or Mariner Bay or the United States government, anybody tries to negotiate with the demons, nor does it seem the demons seem to indicate that they were there first. I mean, Lightspeed knows they were there. They know that that was their ancestral home, and yet they're defending themselves, basically. And what clouds this even more, I would say, is Captain Mitchell's whole side in this, because Captain Mitchell pretty much spearheaded Lightspeed, and it was really out of a personal vendetta against Diabolico. Because look at it this way: had he not made the deal with Diabolico, would Captain Mitchell be in the position that he was? Because he thinks he's morally justified in what he's doing, not necessarily to protect his home, but because Diabolico took his only son. So that muddies the waters for the ethical dilemma, because we have on one side somebody who's trying to get their home back, and another person who doesn't want them to take their home back because of his personal vendetta. So again, it's just fascinating to go ahead and think about here, because again, we want to assume the Power Rangers are right because, well, they're the Power Rangers, and we assume the demons are wrong because, well, they're evil demons. But as the series did indicate to us, they have loyalties and friendships and feelings of their own, and codes of honor. Unfortunately, that didn't get till the latter half of the season, but still, it was there. And really, I think the only thing that justifies completely Lightspeed Rescue in the context of the series is Banshira's madness. Because, once she went crazy, then kind of all bets were off on both sides. But just in the beginning, it makes you wonder, why didn't Diabolico say, hey, we were here first, and try to either hammer out a peace or some sort of negotiation, but he just went straight to force. He went to destroying and attacking the city. And again, that gives the Rangers, I guess, the moral justification to do what they do, even though it seems like they may not have a leg to stand on. Because, I mean, imagine you're living at your house, and you've been there for, say, 10, 15 years, whatever, but it turns out that someone else has the deed to the house or something like that. Do you stay and fight it, or do you just say, hey, this was your house, legally it's yours, I can see it's on the paper, I'll just go find some other place? And I know it's a tall order to evacuate a major metropolitan city like Mariner Bay, which again is roughly on par with San Francisco here. But you would think that in a universe up to that point that's had alien invasions and demons and machine empires and a whole bunch of other stuff like that, that they would learn diplomacy better than they have. Because there really isn't any diplomacy on site in Lightspeed Rescue. Even when you look at characters like General McKnight, who is that traditional gruff military officer. I guess the closest analogy you have is he's like the Nick Fury of Lightspeed Rescue, which might be an insult to Nick Fury. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, just to kind of summarize right here, it comes down to who was there first, where the legal land rights, and all that, because I think most people are going to go ahead and say, we have the right because we are there, we're the dominant force, blah, 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 whatever. And of course, if demons were imprisoned, obviously they did something wrong. Not necessarily. Let's actually make that point real quick. I mean, first of all, it's a small band of demons. There could have been an entire race of demons there that were wiped out by some sort of genocide or smallpox blankets or who knows. I almost wonder, and this might be a stretch, but what if the demons are some sort of allegory for Native Americans in California, or just Native Americans in the United States? Because wouldn't that be a fascinating thing to think about? That the humans who, frankly, in Power Rangers are always altruistic, pure Boy Scouts, pretty much throughout the entire franchise, could be responsible for the almost extinction for the demons. And of course, that would give the demons even more justification for what they're doing. Because I think the demons in some way are justified in what they are doing. Do I agree with their methods? No. But they feel they're justified. And frankly, if you lose your home like that, there is some sort of justification to that. Now, I will go ahead and point out, I don't think there's necessarily justification in what Cliven Bundy did, just to kind of get that out of the way. But at least with the Power Rangers, or excuse me, the demons, they do have some sort of justification. But Power Rangers have justification as well. Ultimately, what this is an exercise in showing that both sides have valid reasons for doing what they're doing. But the more I think about it, the more I don't think that either side is right in what their ultimate solution was and ultimately what happened here. So take that what you will. I would definitely like to hear some feedback on this matter. Again, let's try not to keep it political. I'm trying not to do that. But what do you guys think? Were the demons justified in what they did? Were the humans justified in what they did? And who really owns Mariner Bay at the end of the day? Yes, the Rangers defeated the demons and they're all trapped forever. But, I mean, who do you think was there first? Was it the humans that came 15,000 years ago? Or was it the demons who were there till at least 5,000 years ago? Heck, I mean, they could have came 20 years ago before before humans came. And it's a very sticky situation. I wish I had more information to analyze here. But frankly, those are the only facts I can really go ahead and find from this series. Everything else is mostly speculation. But well, I hope you guys actually enjoyed that. I know I kind of stumbled around there, but it's just one of those meaty topics that you wish that, I wish Saban would provide me with some information on that, because I would just love to see what was going through their minds when they were thinking about this. So, but I want to thank you guys for listening anyway. Again, go ahead and leave your comments down there. And look forward to maybe at least one more video this week. I'll get up for you guys, and you can go ahead and enjoy it. But anyway, hey, wish me luck here. You guys have a good evening. And the tavern is now closed.